All right, everyone, how are you? Welcome to this week's episode of our podcast. It's called Is Breakfast Included? Thanks for stopping by. On the show this week, I get to talk to singer, songwriter, performing musician, and very good friend of mine, Rob Baird. Rob has a new live album releasing today, so stop this, go download it, check it out. We talked about that. We talked about his early days. We talked about how he and I met. Man, this was just one of those riffing when you have somebody that you really like, a good friend, and you just catch up. That's what we did. I used the podcast to catch up with him. It was a great conversation, man. Rob is a great guy. Let's check it out. Tell everyone who you are.
I'm Rob Baird. I am a country and Americana singer-songwriter. Lives in Austin, Texas. Originally from Memphis. I've been doing this for about 17 years.
17. Wow.
Yeah.
So you had just released I Swear It's the Truth when I met you.
Wow. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
Man.
so I
That was
met you.
2012.
Yeah, I met you around that time, and at some place in College Station, Hurricane Harry's or some shit like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think that one's gone too.
Is
Yeah,
that the
Hurricane
place that has
Harry's.
the upstairs dressing room? And you could
Yeah, you
come.
kind of like walk down the
Yeah,
staircase.
yeah. That's where I
Yeah,
met
that
you.
place. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Who
and
were you working for back then? Or were you just there? You were
I was
thinking
there
new.
with Hudson,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
I remember
and
this now.
and the both you cats were opening for Pat that
Okay, I
night.
remember this vaguely. Yeah, wow. That's a
Yeah,
long time ago.
and
Yeah.
Wes introduced me to you in the back of the building after the shows, and I told you I was like, man, I really like that one song that you guys closed with tonight. I wasn't sure what it was, but you and I just started just talking and getting to know
Yeah,
each
man.
other. And I had to drive all the way back to Denton that night, and you gave me that CD, and I remember
Oh,
listening to it and thinking, dude, it was just barn burner after barn burner. I was like, man, this guy, he's not gonna have any more songs to record after this album.
Oh man, I appreciate it. I do remember like standing back there now that I think about it. I have the photograph in my mind of like back behind the Hurricane Harry's and
Yeah.
whatever rig Hudson was running. He had a big old trailer that I was looking at. I was like, man, that's a big old trailer. Anyways, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that night now.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I never knew with that guy if we were gonna be in a bus or a van.
Yeah, or a plane, I presume.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not bad
Uh,
problems to have.
no, no, not at all. But yeah, that's when I met you, man, 2012.
Wow.
And I've been a fan ever since. I could sit here and just kiss your ass this whole time, but you and I became friends, and you were actually very cool to me at the time. And at the time, like I'm a very self-deprecating individual, so when somebody that I thought was cool was talking to me, even back then, man, I'm like,
Oh, come on, dude. You're a bad mother trucker.
Man, when did you start writing songs? Like how long before you in Memphis had, did your parents play? Was the music around?
Man, it was like the early days of like independent Texas style country, like the Robert O'Keens and just like kind of what I would call like the like Shooter Jennings, that fringe country stuff was starting to come up when I was living in Memphis and I would go to Blockbuster Music or at the time, and that's how long ago, and like find the CDs or order the CDs. I was like paying attention
Yeah.
because at that time it was like Alan Jackson and all this. I mean, I always loved country music. I was working on farms and ranches and I was listening to it, but you know, just like anything with the radio, you only get so much of that music, and you're kind of like, okay, I've heard this, and so I started kind of seeking out the songwriter types, um, and I always felt like I would be singing a song to myself as a high school or whatever, and I was playing guitar and kind of learning all these songs, printing the tabs off, if you will,
The
and like had these
tabs.
big binders.
Yeah.
I still have my CD collection, which is funny. Some of my CDs that end up in the local bar here, I put them in the jukebox. That was the whole funny thing. It says I'll be there every once in a while and like hear my CDs. So that was definitely a time where I was looking and really seeking out the music, but I don't think anybody had given me like permission to write a song yet, or not
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
need it, but just to kind of like I could feel songs turning in my head, and I'd just be walking around singing to myself, and people would be laughing at me all the time, like in high school, and I'd just be like bopping around, making up some song in my head. I played a few little shows in between these like soul R&B like Memphis bands. I'd go to these bars and we'd sneak in and I'd play in between their set breaks, which was funny. And that just kind of gave me the taste. You're kind of dipping a toe in. You're like, I'm interested in this. I don't know what it is. The funniest thing I think is getting into the music business is such an awkward process. You're kind of like, oh, I want to get into this. And how do you do it? Like open mics and all that. But to answer the question, eventually I got to college and I was going to TCU in Fort Worth for ranch management because I'd grown up working on these ranches and I was interested in the logistics of ranching and thought it could have been. Well, I also had no other idea what to do with my life. And I was like, well, I understand how grass grows and fences work. And then I got a gig at this place called the Aardvark, which is kind of infamous for like, I think Flicker Stick started there a long, long
Yeah.
time ago. And like, Green River Ordinance and a bunch of Denton bands have played there, and they kind of had a college night. And I did a gig with I played all covers, acoustic, and then with a bass player because everybody wants acoustic bass combo. That's when I learned very quickly. And I did that, and like 300 college kids showed up, and I immediately was like, "All right, I played these cover songs. That was fun. I've got to start writing my own songs immediately." And then I put a band together, which it did help that three brothers were in their like family band. They're from Midland, the Christensen brothers. So I grabbed all of them and I was like, "Well, you guys can play. You already know how to be in a band with your mom and dad."
Yeah.
And I immediately started writing songs. Like once I got the taste of it, it really changed my life. Like I woke up the next morning, I was like addicted. I was like,
Yeah.
I've got to do this, And
Yeah. Were you addicted to the the live thing and the performing thing, or just
I think it was like the live thing was you get that energy that you've never really felt before. Like I was never like a great athlete or anything, and I never felt like this is my thing. I think I was kind of just addicted to the idea of the music business and like figuring out all the puzzle pieces of it. Because you're
yeah.
just like, it's just such an unknown frontier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially just like first day in, you're like, all right, I've got to figure this out. And I still, that's like the part of the business I love the most is like creating the music and figuring out the puzzle pieces of like putting a whole project together. And I mean, the studio is still just the most fun part to me, and being with the musicians and your friends and creating something.
Yeah.
Um, the live part is work. It's the waiting around, it's the sound checks, and then you get to the show and it's great, and then it's the 5 a.m. flight out, and you're like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's always worth it. But yeah, I knew that I had to write my own songs immediately, and didn't really know where to start. But you just literally pull out a pen and a pad back then and just get after it and see what you can come up with. But I was lucky to find some mentors, and that really helped me start putting like some, Phil Pritchett. You ever met Phil Pritchett? He's an
No. No.
OG DFW guy. A guy named Kurt South. My friend Scott Davis that I still work with, who was in Hayes Carl's band, eventually came down the line through a series of people, and I put together a little college record where we didn't know what a click track was, and then all our effects were through like a PV combo amp. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we got started, and then everybody kind of started getting jobs or like going, into the real world, and I was like, I'm not ready to give this up, and I found Scott Davis and all of Hayes Carl's band like right after Hayes had a huge record called Trouble in Mind, and they were just like fresh off of Letterman or Leno, and took my very green ass into the studio and helped me put together my first record. And it was kind of like, with really no expectations. I was still in college, and then I had met some folks in Nashville. This guy Frank Liddell, who was a producer and owned Carnival Records, and the Eli Young band was on that, and I was like a big follower of them, and I was
Yeah.
like, I want to be on Carnival Records one day, like pipe dream, and they signed me, like still in college, and I was like, oh, okay. It was just enough money to get away with not getting a real job, and then the whole process began.
Right on, man. Isn't that funny? Like
Yeah,
the pipe when you first start, you're like your goals now, if you look at them, they're so small. But at the time, you're like, if I can get on Carnival Records, man, that's all I
yeah, it's
need.
everything.
You know?
Yeah, and that was a whole ride in itself. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. Just showing up on Music Row, and they're like, "This is how this works," and you're just like, "What?" You write at 10 a.m. You're gonna need to be here. You're writing with the, you know, this person wrote this song. And you're like, but I like grew up on that song. Like, yeah, he wrote it. And then you're gonna go sit down in a room and you're just like, hi.
Yeah.
It was
What
a
was
lot
it
of
like going
lessons,
in the
man.
studio with those cats? Did you go in there like a sponge, or did you go in there like, you know?
Oh man, super like a spot. I mean, I was very green in a lot of ways. I think my the only thing that I was bringing to the table was that I didn't know the rules. So the way I would write would not I still try to keep that going too. Like I was literally just working on a song with someone before we started this call. But yeah, I did know the rules, but everything else, I was just like, I didn't know the rules to writing the song, so I maybe wouldn't pay attention to the form or do something a little abstract that maybe gave my songs different character than other folks. But when it came to being in the studio, I was very much like nervous. It was kind of like I want to eat a cheeseburger, but I know how to cook one. But then here are all the ingredients, and you hand them to somebody else, and you're like, "Is this the cheeseburger we're trying to get?" I have no idea. And
Yeah.
maybe blindfolding myself and being like, I had no idea how to talk. It took me years and records and to figure out kind of how to make my own records, but feel super lucky. I think we just finished a studio record maybe 3 months ago that'll come out soon, and that might be the first record where I feel like everything that was in my head got onto the tape. It took 8 records, and I just feel lucky to be able to make that many records, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's great, man. So after your debut, you put out "I Swear It's the Truth." The difference in those albums, of course, you can hear it. But
Yeah.
did you is that where you caught your stride and you're like, okay, yeah, I can, because that's a fucking great record, man.
Oh, thanks, man. I haven't listened to that record in so long. It's so
It is.
funny.
It's on my phone and it comes up regularly, you know?
I love that. Isn't that funny when your phone's kind of your DJ?
Yeah.
Um, I think I was almost the opposite. That was like because we'd made the first record in such a vacuum of like we were just making it in this old house in Lockhart, Texas, and then you get signed, and then I had I think it was just one option for another record. So that was our first label-esque record, which they gave me the budget for, and we went to Cedar Creek Cedar Creek Studios, which is still operating, which is awesome. After a little hiatus, but yeah, we were getting label input, which is I remember the input being if you could make this a little less Harvest and a little more Crazy Horse, that would really work. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. But we landed the plane. Definitely working with a label at that time. I mean, this is pre-Spotify. We're still in the CD game.
Yeah.
And I think you have to learn how to take outside input, no matter what project, like especially now, I'm working with other artists that definitely understand this, like, and maybe figuring out which parts of that input that you agree with and which parts you maybe don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you've ignored the advice, they go, ah, that's exactly what we're looking for. And you maybe not change as much or just
Yeah.
change one thing, you know? But that record definitely Dreams and Gasoline was the song off that record that put me in a place. Granted, no Spotify, or Spotify might have just started cranking right then, but got me on the radio of XM, got me into some TV shows before. This is pre Yellowstone, but got some traction that I had never experienced. And when you do that, it definitely um, changes the game for you if you can just get that like bigger megaphone.
Yeah, yeah. And that album, that song in particular, got you a lot of uh in when I knew I was going to talk to you, I started looking at, and I didn't know a lot of this. It was voted like in the top 50. You know, it said Red Dirt Highway songs, but
Yeah.
man, what I dig about your music is you have just enough of classic country, just enough of Red Dirt, and just enough of your own thing that it's you really can't label it that Red Dirt sound. In my opinion,
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time around these cats, you know. Um,
Well, yeah, man. I appreciate. I mean, I like have a lot of reverence, especially for like the OG guys. Like Pat Green just got one of my songs, which was really cool. Was I used to like I was like 15 and I'd sneak to Barbecue Fest and go see him playing on like down the Mississippi River in Memphis. And so it was kind of surreal to be like sitting in the studio, like this is crazy. Um, and like Charlie Robison and some of those guys, like I just like that they weren't playing by the rules. But I don't really feel like I'm like a Texas country red dirt artist.
yeah,
Um, I think people put me in that box sometimes, and that's. I mean, I'll be at a show and somebody will be like, "Mine's best Texas country" or whatever, and I'm like, "Yeah, kinda," because I don't really. I do name check. I think Texas in a couple songs, but I love living here, but I don't feel like I'm uh being from Memphis, I have this other perspective
yeah,
and working in Nashville, and I've lived in Nashville twice, and I've just kind of gotten to see all kinds of sides of the country music business, which has been fun. And being in that one box doesn't really appeal to me.
yeah. Well, I do hear it in your music, man. You can't label it Texas country. Uh, very. I grew up as a kid, as a child, with '80s country. Ronnie Millsap. That
Yeah,
and I hear some of that in there, which
I love
some
that stuff.
uh, it it's good shit, man. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you what I think of it. You don't want to hear all that,
Yeah,
but it's good stuff.
yeah.
And so I think that, yeah, I wouldn't consider you a Texas artist other than living in Texas, which is what
It's
does it.
cool. It's cool now that like Texas is and Nashville are like friends.
Yeah.
And when it kind of like right when I started in this whole thing, it was very contentious between like a Texas artist going and getting a deal or working in Nashville. And I can see why, like some of the music changed a lot when those artists went there. But over time, like the bridge I think has been built, and it's really fun to now that those worlds don't collide. Now everybody's like working both places, making
Yeah.
music both places. And so, and the music industry and as like the acceptance for songwriters in general, with it really to me was like when Isabel did South, or well, Shooter did Put the O Back in Country, and that kind of set it up, and Dave Cobb. But then there was like a 5 year period where it was like, oh, that was cool, but it didn't country music still or radio reigned supreme. And Isabel kind of came in and opened it up a little bit with Dave Cobb. Then Sturgill came in, and then eventually Stapleton, and then all these other artists. And then you get into like eventually now like the Zach Bryans of the world, and like how much that these artists that aren't really radio artists are getting to play massive, massive shows, and
Yeah.
the rules have changed, and everybody is I guess consuming music at a quicker pace and wants more, and it's really a good thing, I think, in the long run.
Yeah. 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 I'm a huge, everyone knows I'm a huge fan of Isbell. And, I went on tour with him for a year.
Yeah,
So I got to see a lot of his support acts are now like these names you're seeing, but um you're right. The whole And I still like some Nashville acts too. I like still,
Yeah,
still some of these cats that are coming out now. You know what I dig
totally.
about you is following you is you've kind of remained and kept to yourself. A lot of these bands are rock bands now that throw a yaw in there, and and
Yeah,
oh, they're
yeah,
so
it's funny,
rocking,
man. I
and
think I've gone the other direction. I think I've almost done like too much. I mean, Tom Petty's always been like my North Star.
yeah,
I mean, not a bad North Star, just like the way that they made all these diverse records and the Sonics and the Mike Campbell and the Bim Tenches of the world. But like the record we just made, I think has like two electric guitar parts on the whole thing.
wow,
So I've really tried to been like stripping things back and focusing more on being less rock. Also, I'm kind of a horrible electric guitar player, and I just had to just go ahead and accept it. You know what I mean? I'm not Jason Isbell up there with the red eye. I'm just like, nobody wants this. Okay.
yeah.
And I'm getting confused. I don't have a Bernie there all the time. I'm getting confused. I got two guitars in my hand, two wires, hitting the A/B switch, and I'm just like, well, let's just go with what works here.
Yeah. I used to work for a guy named Josh Ritter, a
Oh yeah.
singer-songwriter. I love Josh, and I would have to force him to take a new guitar because he would just knock it out of tune. He'd just be playing out of tune, and his bass player would look over at me like it's time, and I have to run out and
Mhm.
almost force him to take another guitar.
Just take it, man. Just yeah, that's funny.
But,
Yeah, especially when you start doing a lot of different tunings and stuff. Like
yeah,
you don't have the chance to go from like drop D's on both, the low E and the high E and stuff. Like
yeah.
yeah, we need guys like you that actually know. Like I finally am playing in tune after like that probably started happening like 4 years ago. Like I'm probably 85% in tune most of the set. Like and I can hear it now and I'm like, okay, I got it. That's
Mhm.
the D string. But yeah, it's funny, man. Being in
So
tune matters.
yeah, it does. It does matter. Yeah, it does matter. I told this story before when Gibson started putting out those the self-tuning guitars.
Oh, the
You
robot
the
guitars.
robot guitars. I remember the
Yeah.
guy I was looking after at the time. He goes, "Ah, you're going to be out of a job soon." And I go, "No, you still need someone to blame, man."
Yeah, I think the robot guitars are out of a job pretty quickly.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
They didn't go over too well. Man, you've got this live album coming out.
we do. Yeah, it's fun, man. This whole business is pretty much based on relationships. And so you like and that's the part that keeps me in this business because you have these friends for so long and you talk about the things you want to do. And in this case, there's a venue in Bozeman, Montana called Live from the Divide that they did like a Getty documentary on the owner, Jason, and I saw it maybe 7 or 8 years ago. And then maybe 3 days later, I got an email from Jason that was like, "Hey, would you ever consider coming and playing Live from the Divide?" Just one of those weird
Yeah,
universe things. And I was like, "Dude, I just saw this thing. I'd love to do it." It's a tiny little venue. They used to do like NPR shows there, like in Montana, and Sturgill's played there, and Tyler Childers did some stuff there, and a bunch of artists have done these like taped shows because it's connected to a recording studio. Um, excuse me. Um, so I went up and hung out with Jason and ended up staying with his family in this house at this amazing canyon called Bear Canyon in Bozeman, and we just hit it off. And I was like, do you normally let the artist stay at your house?" He's like, "No, man, you're the first one." And I was like, "How long have you been doing this?" He's like, "5 years." It's like we were almost just meant to be friends, you know?
yeah, yeah,
And we played there, I think, 6 times before we actually got to the recording part. But we had always talked about doing this series there. And I had produced a couple things in the studio. So got to know the engineer and kind of build that relationship. And last October, we finally got to getting it done, and we did 2 nights up there, pretty much flying by the seat of our pants. As and like I've done one live recording before, but we did it at Arlen Studios, so we had a lot more control.
Yeah.
Like we built the audience, but it was like a full studio. This in this case, like it's a studio. It's a little. It's off the kind of off the wing, and the room's a little. It's very small, so we were kind of figuring out how to mic it and how to do all of the different tricks, and then I learned a lot. But it went down. We just went in there and just ripped it, basically. and I was just kind of going like, all right, I think we got it, and then went and mixed it, and I got what I was looking for. And we got to do, I think there's 3 new tunes on the record, and we got to shoot it, and it's just like one of these things that we've been talking about doing forever, and then we went and did it. And it's, you get all these pressures on like studio records, and you've got to work the singles and develop the content and have the marketing plan.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's just like a purely fun project,
Yeah.
and a representation of just like that moment in time, which makes a live record.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
doing live records is just such a bonus. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like no one really asked for this, but we're just
No.
gonna do it and
And
give it
it's
to the
very
people.
fortunate if you're
Yeah,
able to do
yeah,
one. Yeah.
totally. And this is my second, and it's just like we've got we printed a limited vinyl run, and just had a lot of people really just nice people involved, and I'm just kind of amazed we landed the plane,
Yeah.
you know?
And the people you've let listen to it, man, have you let anyone listen to it? What kind of feedback are you getting?
Man, I should send it to you. I think in such a weird way, like since we were doing a studio record at the same time, or we did this in October and we got in the studio in December, that it took a lot of pressure off the live record. Um, like we mixed it and then I kind of sat back. Like I didn't feel like I knew that we'd get it out this summer, so I didn't feel like there was a lot of pressure to like stay on it. I got to let it live and then go back and listen to it, you know. Um, but I just sent it to the engineer. He was like, it was kind of the scariest person to send it to because
Yeah,
they got the
yeah.
capture, and they seemed really happy about the whole thing. So that was cool. Man, I really haven't. I should send it to you. I haven't really let it. So we did it acoustic with my friend Danny Golden, who is kind of a multi-instrumentalist, great songwriter. He's been writing with me, kind of my main guy, but he kind of does the Dave Rawlings, Gillian Welch cross-picking kind of situation
Uh-huh.
and is singing harmonies. And my whole goal is like those Guy Clark records and some of that kind of like live Townsy stuff is what we were looking for. And I think there's some really good moments on there. And we'll see. The people will react.
Cool. Those are some mighty big shoes to some goals So if you're happy
Yeah,
with it,
dude.
man. Uh
Yeah,
and well, you said you shot it. Did you film it as well?
we did. I'm really lucky. We were shooting a Cannondale mountain bikes commercial at the same time. Yeah, because I can't I get recording a live record's hard enough, but my good buddy Jack Berg is a videographer out of Park City, and I was literally just in Park City shooting some stuff with him yesterday. Um, but I fell into this world of mountain biking, which I do love. I took some good spills this week in Park City too, which is not a good thing for a guitar player, singer, songwriter to be doing. But they use a version of Dreams and Gasoline for this commercial, and I was in it. I'm like the host, and then I was like, "Well, you got to shoot the show too while we're at it." So it was really lucky to have him up there doing that. And I mean, he's like brilliant videographer, uh, photographer, and so we got all these photos and got to do some behind the scenes stuff. And he shot the album cover. So it's
Yeah.
just one of those things that came together at the right time.
Yeah.
You know, like it's so rare that that happens in this business where you're like everything's going the right direction. You're all going down the same river at the same
Yeah.
time. And
Yeah.
yeah,
That's cool,
so
man. Well, it seems like things fall into place for you. I think that's because the energy you give out, bro. You know?
Oh, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
The thing about the music business that I'm sure you can relate is that if you accept that you want to do this for a long time, like, I'm 38 now. I'll hit 40 and I'll probably have a midlife crisis. It's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but we're mentally preparing for that, so maybe we'll avoid it. But you just got to be patient and let the things happen at the right time, because if you're not, you're just gonna drive yourself crazy. You're like, why is this not happening? I see this person getting this, and like I've learned to let all that go and just be like, it's gonna all come together at the right time. There's always something that you don't see around the corner that if you wait will help the whole entire situation reach more people or cement the idea or just bring it more into focus.
yeah, and patience. That's a hard thing to
Yeah.
have in this business, but it does pay off. I mean, you see cats that play 2 shows, next thing you know, everyone it's their flavor of the month, and it's all happening for them, but I
And it's
can
over.
I can name a bunch of them. you
Yeah,
know?
man, it's terrifying. I
So
mean,
so
and I,
longevity is a
yeah,
good thing to have, man, whether, you're
for
making a living
sure.
doing it.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing that's like the blessing. And same, just to be in this business and making a living, like you have to feel fortunate, and there's no like boss telling me to figure out like this live album needs to be out on this very date because this is the most marketable date for a live record this year. We've done market research, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's great, man. But that's not. You just got to go with the flow.
Yeah. You said you've been working with, younger artists or new artists lately?
Yeah, man, it's been cool. Like, for being around long enough where I've gotten like some bigger country artists have found me as like an artist and then been like, I want to write with you, and getting some cuts that way. And then that back to patience, like, you write a song with somebody, and which I do love that feeling of like, we wrote the song, okay, I'm gonna leave, you can figure it out. Like, I don't have to produce it, I don't have to worry
Yeah.
about it. Word change, go for it, brother. Do whatever you need to do. And so over time, that has kind of helped me get into some good graces with some publishers and some other people. And so, um, yeah, I'll pretty much write all right with anybody like that. I dig their music, and if they're coming up, and there's always something to learn, like, and being around the energy of someone like the bigger artists. It's cool, and you get to learn about their world and what they're looking for, and that's kind of a challenge of like, what do they don't have. And then if you're writing with a new artist, you're like, it's pretty much energy based. You're trying to
Yeah.
figure out like the canvas is so blank that and I've gotten back into this a lot more recently, where I have to remind myself that I can't go in with my agenda. I have to kind of sit there and be like, what are they really looking for? And like,
Yeah.
what is their heart saying? And if you kind of, you know, somebody can bring 12 ideas to the table, which you can see which one matters the most. And that's what I'm trying to play a little bit of psychologist, and just trying to figure out what is that person trying to say. And
Yeah.
in this business, we've all kind of gone through the same thing. So
Yeah.
generally,
Yeah.
so it's relatable, and it's been fun, man. I'm excited. I'm writing about, if I'm home, like 3 days a week right now, which is fun. And having a project in the can right now kind of takes the pressure off me, knowing that that project probably won't come out till early next year. So I'm like, if I get something for me, great. But if I help somebody else write a song and they could
Yeah.
go produce it, great. Yeah,
And does that make you do you feel that helps your songwriting chops when you write with someone new?
I think so, man, for sure. Like, excuse me. Like, I got really lucky that the record that's out right now for me, like my most recent record, Burning the Stars, there's a guy named Darden Smith. You know Darden?
No, I don't.
Darden had a big like hit in the early 90s. He toured with Stevie Nicks and has done a lot of great things as a songwriter. He started songwriting with Soldiers, and he kind of became, or he did become, my mentor. And we wrote a whole record together. We probably wrote 35 songs for the record that's out right now. And that was like a master class for me in writing, kind of like an MBA, and like, showing up and at least getting 80 to 100% of a song done in like 2 hours.
Oh,
Like just being efficient, learning how to like not be too precious, get the idea down. You never know what a song can become once you start writing so many songs. I mean, there's songs that have this like special weight to them that and like I'll hold those onto those, and I'm like, that's something really there. Um, but it really helped me get efficient at the craft. And so writing with new people now, you definitely learn new things, or you come up with a new turn of phrase or whatever. Um, can happen just by having two people that you've never been, working together creatively. But it's so cool to just have that toolbox that you're like, all right, I'm going to get this tool out here and I know what to do with it and how to make it work. And hopefully you just got to keep the ball moving. You can't just be sitting. The worst thing in a writing room is when you're just sitting there staring at each other like, what do we do?
yeah.
You know?
You got anything?
So yeah, exactly. And it just rarely like bears fruit. So it's just how much can you attack something and try to do it quickly before you start overthinking anything.
Yeah. That's not the room to be overthinking.
No, overthinking is not your friend.
Yeah. I'm currently reading excuse me, Deliver Me from Nowhere, the Making in Nebraska.
Oh man,
And
what a time.
like I'm seeing the songs that he wrote and gave to people. Like and I'm familiar with these songs and the artists that recorded them. Like, do you feel like, have you ever written a song and given it to an artist and like, oh, I should have kept that one?
Man, I've been lucky. Just the nature of like controlling, having my own label and controlling my own releases, like no one generally hears anything that I'm holding back. But like, I mean, in the Nebraska case, like watching the life of Atlantic City and like a song that, you
Exactly.
know, is acoustic, and then the band did it. I mean, how many people have done Atlantic City? I mean, it's one of the best songs of all time, and
Pat used
put
to
it up
do it
there with,
live.
yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everything dies. That's a fact. I mean, it's just a perfect song. It kind of reminds me of The Weight. It's one of those songs that's like up there with the band where you're just like, where did this come from? And I love the story of how Robbie Robertson's just looked inside his guitar and was like, Nazareth, PA. That's where they
His
make
guitar.
Martin guitars. And he
Yeah.
like put it in but yeah, the ubiquitous nature of songs. I mean, that's the goal. That's what I'm looking for. That's the thing when I'm writing, that I'm trying to find that feeling of a song. I mean, it is quite literally like trying to catch lightning in a bottle, and you might only get, you know, you're lucky if you get one your
Yeah.
whole career. If you get, Springsteen has probably 20 of them, and that's why we go see him play for 3 hours
Yeah.
plus. But
Yeah.
yeah, I need to read that book. Well, I mean, State Trooper, come on,
Yeah.
Johnny 99, yeah,
Nebraska. Yeah. I just
yeah.
call me ignorant. I had no idea it was written about a murderer.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, Danny Golden just gave me that whole history lesson cruising down the road. I knew loosely, but I didn't. And there was like a woman involved
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was like riding around. Yeah.
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 So uh I heard Warren Zane on an interview talking about it about when the book came out. I bought the book and my focus is just I can't read. I start reading, and so I got it on audiobook. I'm
There you go.
cheating, but
Yeah.
I'm almost done with it, and I'm learning so much about that album. You know,
Man, I'm gonna listen to that.
it's
And
such
Warren's
a
such a great writer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you read his Petty book? That was a
Oh yeah.
that was a
Totally.
but no, who am I asking if you read?
Yeah. I
But
remember I read it on family vacation. I'm about to go on the same family vacation on Saturday, and it's time to get into this Nebraska world. But
it's
yeah.
it's a great yeah. It's I know Springsteen fans will hear this and they'll be like, oh, you're not a fan. But no, I'm learning so much about him and that album from this book. And it's like, when that's when you say you write with other people. Like, do you ever have something that but you know, I mean, was it he gave the Pointer Sisters fire and Patti Smith because,
Right.
these amazing,
Yeah.
and he had the wherewithal to keep Cover Me. They wanted him to give it
Yeah.
to Aretha Franklin, and he had to,
He was like, nope.
no,
I mean, I
uh,
would definitely, at this point in my career, like, I feel like if I had a song and it could go to a different place with a different artist that was unreleased, I'd probably like strongly consider it, knowing as long as I could record my own version,
yeah,
you know, um, because they would just be so different.
yeah,
I believe, just the way that I make records versus somebody else making records is just, it goes back to cooking. Like, if you want to make a chicken parmesan, but you're in two different regions of the United States, you might make a totally different chicken parmesan just because of the way you go to the grocery store and what they have to offer. So,
exactly, exactly. Well, you and I were talking earlier, uh, talking about when we met, but then I asked you, like you dreams and gasoline. That's the gift that keeps on giving, man.
for
And
sure, man.
it was in
Go
I
ahead.
haven't seen a lot of I don't watch a lot of the shows that your music's been featured on, but I did watch Yellowstone, and I was watching that episode, and I remember turning going, I know that guy. Like, you
Yeah, that
know.
was such a wild experience. There's a girl, Avon Forrester, that runs the Yellowstone music program, and she just, that song was still on the label, and they owned it. And honestly, I was going through this crazy experience where um, my label and publisher from that era of my career was in a lawsuit with Spotify because Spotify didn't secure the right licenses right when Spotify was coming online, and they took all my music down
Hmm.
for like 2.5 years, except for one record that I own, which is my third record. Um, so it's three records deep. This happens, and basically I have just this one record, and everybody's kind of going like, "Where's your music, man? What do you think, you're Taylor Swift taking your
Yeah.
stuff off Spotify?" I'm like, "No, I actually have no control." Yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean, talk about like patience mixed with like gumption mixed with like just a general like, what in the hell is happening? Because you know maybe for like a month I could handle it, but a couple years of this, and then right as that was kind of coming to a settlement, um, it's just all public knowledge and stuff. Like, it's all open on the internet. This whole lawsuit, and I got kind of tipped off. I didn't even know. The person that does like my admin for my songwriter rights told me um, that there was a possibility this song could be on Yellowstone, but the label still had the ownership of it. So I just randomly got this person's email address that does the Yellowstone stuff. She's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's going to be on there." And so it was just but I didn't know when, I didn't know what, and then it happened, and I think my music was put back online like within the same week, and so it was kind of this amazing gift at the end of this ridiculously turbulent time
Yeah.
in my career. Because I mean, one thing that I know for sure that I can say confidently about the music business, which there's not a lot of things I can, is that if your music is not online, and even worse, if it's online and you can see it, and it's all grayed out and you can't hit play, it's not a good thing.
No, no.
It doesn't help you in any way. So yeah, that was a crazy gift, and it was also on that Nashville show. and a lot of I don't know, the sync business in the mid, like early to mid, like 2010s was like one of those things that kind of kept me in the game, and they were just randomly happening. Like Army Wives, never seen that show, but I did know who Rachel Bilson was from the OC, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And a few others. It was Ashton Kutcher had a show called The Ranch, and those were just things that kind of like kept moving the ball forward for me. And it's a lot harder to get a sync these days, just because of you would think more volume of shows, but for some reason the business is like I think they're a little more choosy about how they're spending their money, just because the
Yeah.
budgets have gotten a little tighter. But yeah, man, those moments are just the things that keep you going.
The budgets are tighter, but the bonuses are bigger
Yeah, of course.
within the company.
Yeah, yeah. Can you imagine? Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. Hmm.
Well, brother, man, it's good to see you. It's good to
You too,
talk
my
to you.
friend.
We have to make an honest effort to keep in touch with each other. Um,
I'm down, my friend. Do you ever make it to Austin on tour? You ever
you
down
know,
here?
I you know, I'm starting a tour after this
Yeah.
is over, and I'll be in Austin on a day off in August, like the
Okay.
11th or something, because I know that we have rehearsals there in Austin. I'll tell you who it is when we end this
Yeah.
call, and then we have. I just saw my master tour, and I have a day off, so we should grab a meal, man.
Awesome, man. Come over for a steak, dude. We'll let it fire in August and cook a steak the right way.
Let's do it. Let's do that, man.
Yeah, sounds great.
Well, brother, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Like I
Of course,
said,
man.
of all the people I met while I was in that scene, you're one of my favorite people. Uh, and I thank Wes for introducing. I don't know why he pulled us both back there. He's like, "You guys need to meet each other."
I do. That's what he does sometimes. Sweet West
Yeah,
McNew.
it was
Yeah.
completely uncalled for. He came and got me from the venue, and he pulled me out back. He goes, "I want you to meet somebody. You know, you guys need to know
That's
each
yeah.
other."
He was on
Um,
a heater back then too. Well,
yeah,
yeah, man, but look at us now. And I just love seeing your face, Bernie. It's so fun and like, nothing's changed. And that's the best thing, just to be
it's a,
catching up with an old
it's a
friend.
little grayer.
Yeah, yeah. That's how it goes.
Well, brother, our podcast, it's called Is Breakfast Included? And on this day off, we should have breakfast too. There's a place in
I love
Austin I
it.
dig. What would you have?
Ooh, I would go, man. I mean, I just live for chorizo,
Mm.
any type of chorizo. And I would probably go to Habanero, which is off of South First and Old Torf. It's this little great Mexican cafe. Absolutely no bullshit. You just roll in, they have you seated in like 2 seconds, food's out in 10 minutes, and it's just what I would consider to be the epitome of a fantastic breakfast taco.
All right,
Just
on, man.
that's the one. And no frills. And it's also about $10. So yeah. What's your favorite breakfast in Austin?
Man, I whenever I'm in Austin, I'll need to check that place out. But I always Google best Mexican breakfast because I live in
Yeah,
New Jersey now, and
yeah,
they don't know nothing about breakfast burritos or breakfast tacos. They know Mexican food, but it's
right.
like a fusion type thing. Like
Yep.
anytime I go back to see my son or my mom, like I there's a place over on what's that place? Lamar, that venue. It used to be Gilly, Southside
Um,
Ballroom.
oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
place there. It is literally like I'm walking in my mom's kitchen. None of the plates
Oh,
match, the tables are all shaky. But I go there and I order
it's the
breakfast
best.
because it's breakfast all day and the tortillas are homemade and I'm just sitting
Oh,
there gaining weight.
dude, that's why I moved back to Texas. I was just in Tennessee eating biscuits all the time, and I'm like, I just don't know. Like the breakfast taco is the perfect vehicle for the quick breakfast with a good coffee. That's all you need. Just give me. I
Yeah.
mean, I could take one breakfast taco. I mean, sometimes three, and just just run the day after that. And it's just like that's all
It's
you need. And yeah,
exactly, man. But pancakes are my go-to right now. I'm what they call a pancake connoisseur. Like I
dude, a good pancake go a
but
long way.
but Mexican breakfast, man, that's my thing. That's what I miss. I miss it more than my son. He'll hear this
Oh
and I'll
man.
get the phone
Yeah.
call.
Yeah. I hear you. Oh
Well,
man.
brother, I will hit you up when I get there. But man, thank you
Please
so
do.
much. Like I said, it's really good seeing you, good talking to you, man.
You too, my friend. I'll put you on the calendar right now so I know you're here. I don't know what day that is, but I think I leave like the 15th or something. So
I can tell you right now. I'm doing this. I'm doing this all on the interview. I'm going to leave it in there. The rehearsal day, August 11th. It's a Monday, and I
oh,
have the
Mondays are
day off.
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know how that goes in the music business. Monday is kind of the ubiquitous day off, and everybody's
yeah.
always confused.
That's
And
your
I'm like, Monday's my
Saturday.
favorite. Yeah, it's my favorite day of the week. Like, oh, I get all the things done and eat well on a Monday. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Well,
Cheers,
brother,
Bernie. I appreciate you, my friend.
you too, man. Talk to you soon.
Hey, bye.
Right on, my buddy Rob Baird. What a great guy, man! An amazing, amazing singer and songwriter. You can't help but like him. You can find out more about Rob and his album that's being released today, a live album, at robbairdmusic.com. And you can find him on Instagram at Rob Baird Music. If you're in Bozeman, Montana, near the Live from the Divide, check out, man. He's having a record release party tonight and tomorrow. But yeah, go support him. And while you're online checking out his website, go to our store or go to our website, isbreakfast.com. Go to our store, check out the new designs, the new colors. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want to thank Rob for stopping by and talking to me. It was a great catch up and it was great seeing him. All right, guys, I'm done. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next week.